Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So good to be here. So good to see everybody. We're getting excited to welcome Mary Jaeger. And we were laughing earlier and had a little mini dance party, so already cracking up. So I'm really excited to welcome her and take a tour of her Bushwick studio. Oh, here she is. I'm going to add her in. Mary, how are you? Hi, Michael. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Okay, hope Mary, I gave her a little hey family, what's up? Yay!
Hi, Megan.
How
How are
are you?
you?
Welcome. Hi. Hi,
How are
Michael.
you?
Hi, everybody. Yay,
Welcome,
everybody.
welcome
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
from Williamsburg.
Williamsburg. Okay, yes. So nice to see you. How's it going?
It's going. It's going. It's good. It's good. It's really nice to see you almost in the flesh.
Almost. We're soon we will be, but not yet. But I
Right.
love that you're really quite down the street from me then. Very local.
I think so. I think what, 20 minutes, a half hour walk,
Yeah,
socially
totally.
distanced.
Yeah. Where are you? So you're in Williamsburg or Bushwick border? Where, like, what around?
I'm very close to Bushwick. I'm on Johnson Avenue by the Montrose subway station. Between Bushwick is behind me and Humboldt is in front of me.
Awesome. And we're
So I'm just a
Humboldt, it's between where I live and where my studio is. So, we're in your studio now.
We're in my studio, right? I live in Tribeca, but this is my studio. So, it's been nice to get back here. I haven't been here very many times since March 22nd when there was that, the big shutdown and shelter in place. I just really didn't feel comfortable traveling and coming here, but I think this is my fifth partial day to spend here. So
Cool.
in the meantime, my orchids have died. I had 23 beautiful blooms on my orchids on March 22nd, and now I have zero. So that's a
I
big
think
done.
it revived. I really feel strongly about this. Orchids are really, really strong and
But the
really,
flowers don't come back for years.
no years, but I've gotten them to rebloom. If you just treat them a little bit right, I think little nurture, right?
I'll work on that. I'll work on that.
Awesome. We were going to do a little tour of your studio. We're going to talk a little bit about your process, see some of the things you have going on. I'm really excited to see also some styling tips. Um, and I brought some jewelry so we can kind of play off of each other. So
Oh,
where do you
that sounds
start?
great. That sounds great.
Yeah.
So we're right in the middle of my studio right here. So I'm in an old factory building that was built in about 1920. And this was an area of Brooklyn where they put together a lot of car parts. So this building was built and zoned to build or to stitch convertible car tops. So I
Oh.
kind of like that it's gone, full circle in the last 100 years. It started as a sewing and a stitching factory, and now it's back to being an atelier. It's been a lot of things in the meantime. Just before I moved in, it was a tortilla factory.
Oh,
So that was a completely different scene.
wow. Did you have to adapt the space a lot to what you needed after the tortilla factory?
Oh, completely. I mean, there were all kinds of pipes hanging from the ceiling, and there were holes in the wall, and my skylights were filthy. It was a massive renovation.
Yeah, because
But
how
but
long have you been there and how long did it take you to move in?
um, I've been here. It'll be 2 years in September, so almost a year and a half, or a little more than a year and a half. And it took about 2 years to renovate. So in the meantime, I had different gallery shows and other things, but it was a pretty intense process.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really happy to welcome you here today. And it is a work in process. So when this is all over, you'll come and I'll have one more little thing done. Like today, I got the doors painted blue. So I'm really excited about that and put up some different signage. So
Nice.
little tiny baby steps. But nonetheless, it's really great to be back in my space and working. And there's a lot of, things that I'm going to start working on again and things that I just completely abandoned in the middle of what happened. So
Yeah,
I don't know how you seem to have kept things moving. You haven't really stopped at all.
I feel like it seems like that, but I have had to really adapt and pivot as well to more e-commerce. And I know you've actually taken on and put a lot of effort that way as well. which is I was checking out your website and it looks great, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
I figured with no shows, no galleries, no stores, no customers or clients coming in, I had to do some way to communicate with people. So I spent about a month redoing my website. So thank you.
Yeah.
And the great thing was before this whole thing happened, before when we were really hearing kind of inklings of COVID-19 coming from China and really from China, I did a really great photo shoot with Jean from Idiosyncratic Fashionistas and Emma from Emma Godman from Emma Rose, who were such simpatico models, and they really made my collection come together. So I don't have pictures to show you here, but you can look at my Instagram or look at my website. And
On the website,
such a joy to work with.
it's striking. I love, and you have a whole, she has a whole photo studio. I think we're in your photo studio right now. So you have a place to actually produce this other 2D form of your work in a way, like show it on the body, which is really nice.
I do. So right now we're in my retail, design space. So this is where my clients come and I work with them. And then if I go over here, maybe I can show you toward the end of our talk, because what I'm afraid of is that I'm going to dislodge my camera.
I know. Let's leave it here, and then when we're ready for the tour, we'll do it at the end, and then
Let's do that. So I have
just
a Photoshop area over here where I do all my photo shoots. And then right here is my design studio where I have my cutting table and my machines. And if you go to my left, your right is the door to come in. So when you come in from the street, first you enter another company. It's a plumbing company. So it's really great when I'm having dinner parties and I'm looking for different types of vases for ikebana. I can just go and grab a part or two and do these really amazing concoctions on my dinner table. So you come in from my left, your right. And I have a living room area over here where I have my parents' living room furniture that I'm getting ready to recover and redo, but it's kind of a nice little sitting area. And then if I move my mannequins here, maybe if I move my mannequin, you can see, well, over here, I'll turn the camera a little bit. You can see my dining room table.
Oh, I love, and we're going to look closer at that sculpture because it's amazing. And you host dinner parties. So part of what you're doing is having the studio space. You're doing interactive things. You're having showroom. You're doing, you're bringing people in with like little intimate dinner parties.
Yes, which is really nice because I think it's so nice to be able to have conversation when you're trying on clothes and vice versa, to really, great way to meet people and expand our friendship and also have meaningful conversations. So there's something more to dinner, then it kind of gives us a theme for dinner where you talk a lot about art, music, and film. And it also makes the clothes more meaningful because clothes are fun and they're really great, but I mean, we need clothes that have a little bit more meaning than just things we throw on and kind of push ourselves out the door. I'm a really firm believer that clothes should really be an extension of yourself. And once you get dressed in the morning and you put on something you feel comfortable in, you can move throughout your day and just be yourself and kind of excite other people because you feel so comfortable. So clothes for me have a very deep meaning, but yet I feel that it's that handmade quality and the way that things are put together that gives them their story. So yeah. You'll come over and have a glass of wine with me next time.
Yes, I cannot wait. I love hearing all the stories. I'm excited to learn more about your process because you do bring all that meaning in on multiple levels of what you're doing. The textiles, the drape, the forms, the functionality, everything.
Well, it's really been a process. It has. And then I just want to point out, I have my dining room over in the corner and a kitchen. So it's a full kitchen where we can do some really interesting cooking. In fact, I do have a special guest today.
Ooh.
And she's going to reveal herself in a few minutes, but she did cook up some very wonderful delights to entertain me this afternoon and keep me nourished. So
that's nice because
she'll tell you all about it.
A full day there, right? You'll be there for a while. I know because you'll put a full day in because you've been there all morning as well.
Yeah, I've been here all day. We came about 11. Yeah, all day. So what I would like to start talking about is dusters.
I'm tantalized by all these colors.
So I love dusters, and I think it's because when I was young, my mother had a uniform, and they were shirt dresses. So my mother worked for my father. He was a dentist, so she ran the dental office. She was the guru, and my father was the technician. And she always wore shirt dresses because you could just put them on and she looked fabulous. She put on a cute little pair of palms, pretty earrings, and some jewelry. So what I like about these dusters is you can put them on. You can wear them over something really fun, like a silk chiffon dress, a silk charmeuse dress, like my little shibori doodles. Or you could put them on with a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and very simple jewelry and still feel like you could go to a lot of different situations in a lot of different places.
I love that. What is this part? So I see like little threads coming down. Explain a little bit. What is that? Yeah.
Well, this is my jewelry. I'm doing lariats.
I love it.
The lariats this one I think is 5 yards long, and it's covered with little buttons.
Oh, it's so.
And I raided a jewelry or a button box that my aunt gave me. So I'm going to unwind part of it.
Well, I just
for you.
so many.
These are some. Can you see this? Does that show?
Oh, more about like textiles and sewing. Oh, I love it. Ooh.
So these are little jade pieces that a friend of mine in Japan gave me when my daughter was born. Oh. And buttons that were collected when I was in Vietnam. Little rhinestones I got from a guy around the corner when he was having a trash sale on a table. Glass buttons. I've got horns from Nepal. So I love jewelry, but I love jewelry that has a lot of meaning and that can be worn in different ways. So this was just a fun way for me to put together kind of an eclectic collection of different pieces from my studio. So I just go like a dive. I go for a dive in my studio. And even though I've moved so many times, I still have tons of stuff. So I've got great buttons. I've got great, all kinds of baubles from all over the world that I've, amassed on different travels. But let me just step out of the camera a second.
I love this too. Mary has she makes all these pieces are separate, so you can put them all together because the scarf, it looks like that's almost the hood for the duster, but it's actually a completely separate piece that you put together seamlessly.
These are my accordion neck wraps, but this whole piece kind of started with a vintage skirt that's a Qing Dynasty court apron skirt from around it's dated 1815 to around 1910.
Wow.
And as you can see, it has really exquisite embroidery on it.
Wow, that is the pleating, everything is gorgeous.
Isn't it amazing?
Oh, where did
it's in, almost mint condition. I don't know if you can see the embroidery on these very tiny little knife pleats.
Oh.
So this was really the inspiration in terms of color and shape and form. So when you look at this duster, I'm going to just set this down. I've taken some of the floral imagery in the embroidery and blown it into a super graphic in the back. Can you see that?
Oh, so cool. Yeah, totally. How did you do that? What's the material? How did you do that? And then what did you dye it? How did you get those lines? Did you pleat that or embroider that after? What?
Well, what I do is I usually work on 3 pieces at the same time. So when you see my photo area, you'll kind of understand how I work. But I lay out all the pieces. First, I cut the garments out. And then all these pieces are hand appliqued on. So I'm in a stage of my life where I'm trying to use all the fabrics that are post-production remnants from different production collections that I've done through the years. So I have a massive amount of silk dupione, and I've cut these pieces out, hand appliqued them on, and put the garment together. And then I work with a really magnificent pleater in the garment center. His name is George. That's Tom's International Pleating. So this is pleated on the bias. And I like that feeling of something being pleated on the bias because it gives it a very interesting movement when you walk. If something's pleated horizontally or vertically, like the pleats on the side of the skirt, I mean, it hangs in a very specific way. And it gives you a very specific line. But when something's pleated on the bias, it has a lot more movement, and it takes
It
So
moves.
once it's pleated, then I dye it. I bind it and I dye the edges of the silk. And then, did you know that you cannot permanently pleat silk?
No. And so what does that mean then? How do you can steam it and it'll unpleat?
It will completely unpleat. So this was dyed. So of course in the dye bath I use acid dyes for my silk. So it was steamed. The water has to come to a boiling temperature, 212. So it's steamed and it holds its shape until I open it up. And if I pressed it flat, the pleats would be gone. So to keep the shape, what I've done is machine edge stitched all the edges on the inside and the outside. I'll show you on a scarf here that I have on my table.
I love that. Oh, okay. This is awesome. How did you develop this?
I was working one day in my studio, and I had a store on Spring Street for 10 years
Awesome.
in the early 2000s. And I had hundreds of silk Dupioni scarves, and I had about 6 left. And I thought, what am I going to do with these? Like, really, what am I going to do with them? And I have one here. Maybe I can pull one over and show you. And I thought, so I said, oh, maybe I could pleat them and try something new. So I pleated it, and I thought it was really interesting. And then I thought, well, this could be really interesting done on a larger scale. So I started doing things on a larger scale.
Oh, I love how you play these.
And then I moved from these accordion bonbons, which are neck wraps. So I moved from these and I thought, oh, well, these are really nice, but I'm doing these shirt dresses. Why don't I combine the two? So then I started doing silk dusters and pleating them. And I did some, dresses. And what I love is just the form and the way the form changes. They're like soft sculptures. So Dupioni is really interesting because it holds its body. Kind of like your pieces, they really hold a shape.
Yeah,
and that's what I love about your work is it's so architectural and it really moves with the body and it kind of changes and morphs, but yet it all comes back into a shape.
This is my closest thing I can think of right now because this inspires me so much what you do with the bonbons. I love the name bonbon because I want to eat it. And
oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Yes.
Because I named it that because it reminded me of little French bonbon candies that you get at Christmas time.
Oh, yes. Like, and I like, that's how, is that the way you actually form them? Is they all pleated like that in a little tube?
Right, so it's really easy to travel with.
Oh.
And so you can put it in your handbag in the morning. And then when you're going to the opera or meeting friends for dinner or having just a meeting or just feel like being fancy, like now under COVID, you just feel like having a fancy moment, you can put it on with a pair of Megan Patrice Riley earrings that are lightweight and diaphanous, and you are ready to party.
I was thinking about
with others or by yourself.
Well, I was thinking of these earrings with the colorful scarves.
Ooh. Those are fantastic. I love those.
And then, but okay, so each one of these, I want to know how you come up with the colors for these because you're dyeing them in all these really interesting, do you dye them while they're pleated or dye them before? What? And
as I mentioned before, I have a stockpile of fabrics from all these years of doing production work. So what I've done here is kind of a mosaic patchwork. So I put things together in a patchwork fashion. And then as I said, they're pleated and then they're dyed. And then they're...
Oh no. Hopefully we'll get her back. Hold on. You guys see her? No, I see her.
Can you see
this
one?
Oh, I like that this matches the duster because it really does look almost like it's part of the jacket. Of the
but
even though
you can, work with other, you can drape it differently every time you wear it and show different colors. So if you just had on a black dress and you pull this out, you can, and one of your really great pair of earrings and even one of your long sculptural necklaces,
Oh yeah, I brought this for you too today.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is like my textiles.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's very cool.
It's knit and crocheted powder coated chain.
You know what that would look fantastic with? Just let me sneak over here to my rack.
You have color. How do you come up with how do you choose the colors that you put together? Do you have
Oh,
like
I love color, and I feel there are really no two colors you can't put together that don't work.
True.
So look at your necklace with this. So let me tell you where this came from. What I've done
Love that.
is this first duster that I showed you, which I call Seriously Ruby, Seriously Ruby duster. I photographed this when it's in process. And then I've taken those photographs and blown them into super graphics. So from there, and printed them on silk.
Okay.
So this is one of my kimono dusters. That's a very lightweight silk chiffon.
Yeah. Ooh,
And these are, I don't know if you saw these on my website or not, but this is the Seriously Ruby kimono piece in a lighter weight fabric so that it's perfect for summer, easy to travel, and it's a little bit different price point. So these are all couture pieces and they're one of a kind, but the dusters the kimono pieces and the tunics I do in limited edition. So that's kind of how I play my couture pieces and pieces that are,
oh, I do the exact
I
thing.
can't say, there's certainly that are, done in limited editions. But your necklace with this,
no, I love
really that. Fun.
I love it. I love all the colors happening in there. I like a little wrap too. So did you put satin? What is this on the banded on the side?
A little charmeuse sleeve.
Nice. Ooh.
So it keeps its shape and it stays on, but yet it's very lightweight, diaphanous. And everybody wants cozy clothes now, things that are easy to put on, things that are going to work for us now when we're at home and sheltering in place, but yet they're going to travel and move with us in the new frontier, the evolving normal, as I like to call it.
It's pretty and like dressed up at home, but still be comfortable. I'm all about being dressed up and comfort. And I feel like you think about this too, like blending the two and things that have movement. It's not constricted. It's not buttoned up to here. So this works perfectly. You could wear this over a really simple flowing dress.
You could wear it a one-piece dress. You could wear it with jeans. I mean, this, you could wear this with jeans and a t-shirt.
Very one also, right? Because I noticed you were floating around in it. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. And I have another piece I'm going to show you. It's another technique that I work with. So, do you know what shibori is? Have you?
Yeah,
I know we had this.
I have done shibori, and I tell you, very poorly.
None of it's poor.
I've tried ceramics, shibori, weaving. Yes, I'm a crafty person. I like the craft. Yes.
Well, and do you know what shibori means? The word shibori?
No, tell me. I don't know technically.
Well, shibori comes from the Japanese verb shiboru, which is to wring or to twist. So that concept of wringing out a washcloth is shiboru. So
I'm all about how you learned all of that.
I've years and years in Japan in the kimono industry and designing in Tokyo and Paris for Japanese companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
totally. That's where it came from.
Which completely has informed a lot. Do you feel like you've blended that into your own personal style too?
Yeah, I can't imagine my life without having those. I was in Japan for 8 years. I can't imagine not having that experience. I think one of the most valuable things anyone can do is to live in another country, learn another language, travel and really experience other cultures. So I feel like my pieces are really a blend. They're certainly not Japanese. They're certainly not, the typical American thing, but they kind of have roots and information from a lot of those other countries. And also from Indonesia. I did a lot of work in Indonesia. Ooh. And there's nothing better, which I'm going to show you in a little bit,
okay, cool.
Which is the next thing that's up, is sarongs.
Oh, perfect for the summer. Oh my God, I am such a California girl. I am here for your sarongs.
Great.
I want to pull one out because I can dress a sarong, like the
Oh,
dress. Oh, I love sarongs. Totally.
I'm doing sarongs all summer. I'm
Oh, cool.
and once it stops being so windy and chilly,
Yes.
it feels like a real sarong year. But let
Mm.
me just tell you about this really
Yeah.
quickly.
Did you have
So
okay, sure.
this is one of my tunics. It's cotton with a little bit of lycra. It's organic cotton. And what I've done is I've hand stitched it. And then I'm going to pull the cords together, and that's
This
how
is
the
the
resist
process,
is
guys.
created.
Process, yes.
And then this is a different pattern, but this is the result of doing little hand stitches and pulling them. So this was originally all white.
She will hand stitch all of that, pull it really tight into a little like thin thing that she dyes and wrings out, and then slowly unfurls it into this perfect pattern. This is very hard to do.
And then I took this one step further. My signature is
yes,
a circle or an oval that I put on all my hand dyed garments. So did you recognize that here?
Yes, totally. I have a T-shirt from you, and you have that as well in it, even.
I think in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'd like to introduce my guest.
Okay. Hello. Welcome.
She's lounging.
She's lounging.
But here she is.
But also, like, hello, welcome, hi. Also,
so
well,
you, of course, have met my daughter Edith, but I don't know if everyone online has. So this is my daughter Edith, who just turned 18.
Oh, congratulations.
Sheltering in place with her parents. Can you imagine, in a small Manhattan apartment, can you imagine anything more exciting?
I don't know what to say. There's a lot more to come.
There's a lot more to come.
I'm glad.
Yeah. She's glad.
Life is long. Life is long. There's a lot more to come. But welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for being here for your mom. I hear you're also quite the jewelry artist, and I'm really excited to hear about that. Right? I love jewelry. I gotta tell you, I started selling at your age, and that's how I've always done it.
Yeah, I love jewelry. Usually I have like rings on every finger and like 5 necklaces and bracelets, and I've been making earrings and mailing them to my friends or handing them if we like social distance walk together. And it's such a fun, it's such a fun accessory to have and to kind of build outfits around and to share with friends and nice and noisy and
I like the idea of sharing with friends. That's really nice. It sounds like you share a lot.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't have like a lot of jewelry supplies because I can't go out and get anything, and I kind of have what I have right now, and a lot of stuff I was using for my school's arts department, and I don't have that. And so I'm using a lot of like taking apart old jewelry that I don't wear anymore and painting it or adding gems and kind of refashioning it into something new and making mismatch sets that kind of fit each person's personality and
awesome.
Kind of like finding ways of upcycling.
Totally upcycling and also giving something a little bit new life, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So are you wearing anything you can show us right now?
I am. These earrings I made not in the quarantine, but before quarantine.
Awesome. Ooh.
Super light and fun. I wear them every day. And I have some rings I can get that I've made.
Sure. I love earrings. Earrings are like, for me, when I first started making earrings, were really hard for me to technically figure out. And I made a lot of necklaces as a result.
Oh, that's interesting. And what was technically complicated about making an earring?
I don't know why, but I always had them. They didn't sit right, or it flipped around weird, or it didn't move right, or I wasn't confident in attaching things with wire yet, which is so funny now if you look back on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, show us. Yeah, awesome. This is so nice. So do you talk to your mom a lot about designing, or at all? You guys have
yes. I find that, I think that we do when we don't talk about it. kind of, my mom's always worn a lot of jewelry. Like, she always has on lots of bracelets and not so much rings, but sometimes lots of earrings, like lots of big earrings, lots of necklaces, and I've definitely adapted that into my style. So it's like
I know, I love this, what you're wearing.
Conversation. Yeah, but these were some rings I'm playing with making.
Ooh.
Like very like wiry and twisty, except the beads, all the color kind of came out when I started wearing them and washing my hands. So that's a design flaw I'm working with. But yeah, playing with just simple wire. I got like really heavy duty steel wire from like, we happened to go into a hardware store, and I pointed to a wire, and he's like, "Oh, I don't think you want that one." I was like, "No, I want that one." And took it home and started making rings with it. And
I love it. That's the best way. I think the hardware store is the best place to start. It's we have so many things to choose from, and like really cool tools too to use.
Yeah.
They have really tools that could totally be adapted to jewelry. I go in there all the time. I still go in there all the time. I love the hardware store. Awesome.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's kind of less intimidating than going to like a jewelry store or a craft store, because you're not in there to like build a door.
Yeah, totally.
You're there to make something kind of dainty, and you can kind of play around. It feels like there's more freedom.
I'm going to definitely send you some resources later.
Thank you. I would love that.
Alexander Calder started with the hardware store, and he made jewelry before he made sculpture, and he made jewelry similar that I think you would really enjoy.
Yeah, thank you. I'd love to see it.
Awesome. Okay, well, Mary, you want to show us a little bit more?
Yeah, so Edie has on my silk charmeuse.
Ooh!
Can you see them?
Oh, the pants. Cool.
Yeah, the pans.
Okay,
So what I've started doing, my newest collection is working with very diaphanous fabrics, silks and lightweight cottons, and taking most of my pieces are extremely controlled and engineered. I'm trying to let go of my A-type anal past and do things that are a little bit freer, and bring a little bit more joy to myself because they're not so labor intensive. So these pants, I literally took my needle and thread and was just kind of, singing along and doing a doodle. So that's the doodle pants. Can you see them?
Totally. So that's how you made that pattern?
That's how I did the pattern. They were doodled.
Cute. Oh, I love that. So you made a pattern with your thread or with the explain the pattern making.
A lot of my things are, I make the garment first and then I do my dye work because I like that. I think my time in Japan, which is one of the main reasons I went to Japan to go to school, where I went to learn traditional dyeing techniques, and when I worked in the kimono company, was the fact that they take a very long piece of fabric, and that's only 13-ish inches wide, that's dyed, but all the seams match absolutely perfectly. So when you put on a kimono, the pattern flows completely around the body. You don't see a pattern or a pattern on the front that doesn't match with the pattern on the back. That concept of encapsulating the body and flowing around the body. So in this case, I made my little silk pants first, and then I laid them out flat, and I literally took the thread. I did not have a concept in mind. I just started lyrically doodling on the pants.
The sides, like very loopy.
I love it. They feel like movement to me. I love that part on the side a lot.
So they're very diaphanous and lightweight. They travel well.
I love cozy pants.
Here's I'm going to put one of my the pattern for this fabric was from do you want to put this on?
That's beautiful too.
Was from one of my bonbons when it was folded. I don't have one here that's purple. Oh, this has some purple in it, but when it was folded in the dye process, and I opened it slightly, like this. This one's kind of a little bit dark, I think, to really see the colors. But anyway, it was folded slightly, and then I took a photograph, and I took that and blew that into a super graphic. So these Silk chiffon scarves are 84, which is huge. It's over 7 feet long,
Yeah.
and 4 feet wide. They're 40, 40, about 45 inches wide. So then I do them as scarves, but then here's the robe.
Oh my God. So you digitally printed that onto silk.
It's digitally printed on the silk.
There we go.
That's it, exactly.
Picture of that and get that. Oh.
And then here's a tunic. So I'm going to have you take that off, Edith.
Oh my God.
And we'll put the
Textiles
tunic.
about the textiles, right?
Yeah, it's all about the textile and the design. But then
About how the textile was folded. Okay, cool.
But then the way taking it from the concept of this bonbon, which I like people to think of when they're wearing them as soft sculptures. So there is no right or wrong way to put them on your body. And I feel that same way about a scarf. There is really no right or wrong way to put a scarf on.
Ooh,
So
I'm going to hear about that. I want to see you put scarves on a million ways.
Okay, well, I'm going to just take this. So here we're going to just belt the front part.
Yes, ask about that. Thanks, Beth. Beth just asked a really great question, because I know she's also shown with you. Would you talk a little bit about the words you embroider on the bonbons?
Oh, right. I forgot about that, because actually that I think is one of the most important parts of what I'm doing now, which is really bringing me a lot of solstice. So 2 years ago in 2018, I had with 4 of my textile colleagues from Japan and Berkeley and South San Francisco and Switzerland, we all had a museum exhibition together in Turin in Switzerland, and kind of a beautiful old museum that was up in the Alps. And I felt at that time I wanted to take my textiles and my fashion from being something that was just another piece of fashion to something that had more of a message, and something that contained a message that would allow the wearer and also the viewer to have a little bit more deeper thought about what they're wearing and what they're consuming and how their lives are developing and shaping. So I chose 7 words of hope. And my 7 words are love, joy, peace, happiness, courage, empathy, and compassion. Beautiful. So one of those words is embroidered into each one of my pieces. So for example, on Ruby's Seriously Ruby, over here, very discreetly, under the arm is joy. I mean, I can take, let me find something else that has a word on that's a little.
Maybe one of the bonbon scarves you can show us.
Yeah, and so all of these have a word embroidered. So part of the fun is finding the word and finding if it's, if that word really resonates with you. So this, and they're very discreet. So I don't know if you can see this or not.
Yes. Oh, you do it by hand. It's gorgeous. Oh, I never knew this. Thank you, Beth. Never. And I've been around you more than once.
That's right. There's always a little bit more to learn, Miss Megan.
I will say that every single day. I will never not learn.
There's always something that doesn't quite meet the eye. So in this piece, in this jacket, I'll take this off the mannequin.
Oh, I love this.
And I usually embroider them discreetly near a seam. Can you see that?
Yeah, joy. Totally.
Joy. So joy is actually my word this week. I'm trying to infuse joy in the things that I do. And not only in the work I do, but also in my communication and, how I show up for things, even if it's virtually on a Zoom call. I've tried to, put my eyeshadow on. And I just think joy is such an important word. Last week, my word was love. Last week, I really thought about love and what love means. And one thing that I think really speaks to love at this time is the fact that I'm not working in my studio, so I'm home for dinner.
Yeah.
And Edith is an extraordinary chef. I can't tell you, I've renamed her Chef Edith. And she cooks amazing meals. She was a vegan for a year and a half. So
Ooh.
and at that time she learned to cook for herself because
You have to, okay, so my bet, I lived with vegans, so I had to learn also. And it really pushes you to
yeah.
be cook in general.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what. That's awesome. So are you cooking, what kind of things are you cooking for your mom recently? Like what you cook today?
Well, I didn't make anything today.
Yes, you did.
I mean, I reheated leftovers. But I made not very good cookies. I don't want to talk about this. But
I thought they were great.
I make a lot of soup. I really like really bright flavors, like lots of curries and yeah, lots of curry, and I make a lot of soup and a lot of curry dishes and a lot of vegetables. And I really like crunchy food, so sometimes I want something really soft or I want like super crunchy, so salad with like 40 things in it. Like a little bit of every flavor.
Fun. Oh, fun. Okay, so you have, and you like, it sounds like you like color in your food then as well.
Yes, I do. I definitely like color in my food. It makes it more appealing.
Yeah, it's pretty to look at as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. When I went to remember we did a trunk show a while ago, we actually did a trunk show with someone who has a cookbook that was a vegan, raw food, very colorful. I cannot remember her name right now. I don't know if you know her.
I'm sure after our conversation I'll remember.
I know, me too. I can't remember. I follow her on Instagram, but I've related, Edie, to what you're saying. Colorful, beautiful food.
Yeah.
Yummy. Delicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
The better it looks, the better it tastes.
During quarantine, I feel like everyone's doing breads and anything special that you've been like focusing on in food wise?
I don't know. I'm not very good at baking.
Me neither.
I have a really hard time following recipes because I don't know, I'm like, oh, I know what's best. I'll just, ad lib. I'll make it up. But with baking, you can't do that because it doesn't work. And so I don't really do that much baking. My mom is a very good baker. And she does, if we
work,
we make. So it kind of works together. But I think for quarantine, we definitely have a lot of soup because you can make a lot of it, and it's really comforting and nourishing. So whatever you can make that kind of lasts a long time and is just like makes you feel really comfortable. And I think the test for soup is if it can be eaten hot and then eaten the next day cold. Is like that's how you know it's a good soup. If it's not good cold, it's not a good soup.
I know. Okay, so she said, hold up. I love this too. Show us the other one too that you just put on, Edie too. This is beautiful too. This looks like, is this digital? Yeah, this one got a lot of comments. This is gorgeous. This is like stitched.
So do you remember that the pink t-shirt I showed you with the hand stitching?
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, I can show you the actual t-shirt that I did this piece. When it was stitched.
Yeah, okay.
The fabric was white. I stitched it with blue thread. And before I pulled portions of it. And before I dyed it and pulled it into a very tight, compact little ball, I took a photograph.
Totally get it. I see the little stitch patterns and all the little threads loose.
Right.
Oh. I love how you're making your textiles so about your process.
Well, it also is a really good illustration to show that everything is done by hand. It's not just something that's, printed with a machine. I mean, yes, these are digitally printed with a computer, but the part the design part of it, the design aspect is all done by hand. And it's labor intensive, but it also gives another meaning to textiles and to the clothing that we wear. And I hope that when people wear them, it really gives them a lot of joy and that it has a story that relates to them in some way. I mean, I have clients that come in and say, oh, yeah, that reminds me, my mom told me that when I was a little girl, I should learn how to sew because if I learn how to sew, then I'm going to just be sewing the rest of my life. Instead, she made me study math, and as a result, I'm a brilliant scientist and a mathematician. So everybody, when they look at my pieces, has something of a story to tell me in some way that they relate to the design of it. And on the other hand, I started sewing because my mother was absolutely helpless. In fact, she started a pair of mittens for me, orange mittens, when I was 8 years old. Sadly, she would have turned 100 this year if she was still alive. She passed away at 97, my mom, Florence. But the mittens are still not done.
Okay, well, that's good perspective. How did you develop this love for craft? How did this come about? So it wasn't from your mother. Did you come about it from another way then?
I think I came about it because I had to learn. It was just something that I had to do in this lifetime. You know, my father's a dentist, so he was very meticulous and very hands-on, super detail focused.
Technician.
I learned that patience from my dad, and also that sense of perfection, in the sense that also that you just don't stop until it's completely done and that you've done 100%. You've really given it your best.
Super completionist. I love it. Oh my God. Because I would tell you, like, I totally am that person as well. And my parents are very completionist people, like goal oriented, run marathons, just hit the milestones. Boom. You know, I get it. I love it. I love that you're styling her. You're such a good model, Edie. So nice. So much for helping. Okay, I'm going to tell you, we have 15 minutes. So at some point, I'm going to put this on hold and make sure we do a little tour of the studio because I want to see, all the spaces. Oh, I want to see like 20 of these on one person. Like,
I have a photograph of that. Did you see it?
I did that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was actually a really fun photo shoot. It was with Emma Rose, and we had a fabulous photographer, Sergio Marie, who's French. Oh. And we went to the Hudson River, to the Riverside Park, which is on where Houston meets the West Side Highway, and we did a shoot there. This is really funny. So I put one big piece on Emma, because here's my mannequin. So we started with this one, which is almost like a jacket. It's 24 inches wide. So we started with this, and then we just kept adding. So we put this over her, shoulders like a bustier, and then we just kept draping. I think she had over 20 bonbons on, and we attached them with magnets. And then Sergio, we took some pictures along the brick walls, which were really fabulous. And then he had her lay down on the ground, and he went to the top of the parking lot and did an aerial shot, which was amazing. We had so much fun at that shoot. It was really crazy. It was crazy.
It looked great too. Was really editorial also, I think.
Well, thank you.
Really, it had a lot of voice. And I think what you're doing with idiosyncratic fashionistas, like that, had really strong presence as well. I feel like you have a strong presence with your design, and you've developed it over a while. Did it take a long time to get there? Did you have multiple iterations?
Oh, of course. It's a lifetime journey, as you well know. I mean, I started sewing when I was 4, and I started making my own clothes when I was 6. So I feel like I was just born doing this.
6?
It was my calling.
What did you wear it out?
I did. It was so cute. It was a little sleeveless A-line dress. It was white piqué cotton with massive red roses.
Oh, it sounds amazing. Please be a picture somewhere. Please.
I don't have pictures. In those days, people didn't take pictures of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have pictures. No
pictures.
Pictures.
Did you make the roses? Did you find how at 6? Who got you the roses? Who got you the fabric? Did your mom encourage this?
No, didn't you go to, what was the fabric place? Oh, then there was Gimbel's.
Yes.
Remember Gimbel's department
yes.
store? Gimbel's had a really beautiful fabric department. I would ride my little bicycle I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin. I would ride my little bicycle down to Gimbel's, and I would pick out the fabric I want. And my mom would give me cash, or she'd give me her credit card. I think everybody used cash then. She'd give me her cash. What did it cost? 50 cents a yard. I was little. What did it take? A yard and a half, maybe. So different world.
$1 a dress. Okay.
Then I'd ride my little bicycle home. Oh, I got a Butterick pattern. You know, you spend hours going through the Butterick pattern books and Vogue. Simplicity.
I have 4. Thank you, guys. Okay. Did you have like a little mini? Okay, I had one. I was terrible at it. I had a mini sewing machine. And my mom had one too. My mom definitely messed hers up and like took it apart and put things up her nose. Like she didn't use it. Let's like take it apart and like rip it apart. Sounds like you used her. Did you do it by hand? What the heck? Okay.
No, you know what? Actually, I started on a little Singer sewing machine, and I have it here. And then when I go to my grandma's house, my grandmother would, you'd spend summers at your grandma's house. My grandmother had a farm in Iowa, and she wanted to make sure there were no idle hands. So you'd go in the morning and you'd gather eggs with grandpa. And then if my sisters were there, she'd make my sisters, because they were so young, they had to take naps, but I got to sew with my grandma's sewing machine. But she had foot treadle.
Fancy.
A foot treadle machine. Yeah, it's right over here in the corner by the bathroom. When you come over, you have to try it out.
We have 8 minutes, so we're going to start doing a tour soon.
Okay.
Of the studio, because I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'll take my phone off the handle.
I cannot believe you did it on a little mini sewing machine and wore the clothes. Like, you guys, everybody, this was in you.
It is in me.
In you.
So we're reversed now. So.
Oh, don't you want to touch all that, you guys? Yes.
Oh, come on over. Come on over. Have a glass of wine.
I want to be like
tea, touch. So we'll walk. I just want to make sure you see
the color.
The
I really even clear.
And we'll come. This is a dress I'm working on, but we can touch base on that later. So here's my photo area.
And that's where you're doing all the photo shoots. Nice.
Am I holding the camera correctly?
Totally.
I just got a new phone. I went out for a walk one day last week and I dropped my phone and it smashed into 100 pieces. So here's my sewing area.
Oh, tons of fabrics.
Tons of fabrics. I have all my bins underneath. My sewing machines. Here's some things I'm working on now to finish.
I love that. Can you go a little closer to those? Are those like half made a little bit? Ooh,
Ask me again?
Those are so pretty. Some more digital prints.
These are some other digital prints. So this is a digital print that was inspired by a upcycle piece I did for a client. I do a lot of pieces, mostly jackets, but sometimes people bring me simple dresses or pants to overdye. So I did this pair of denim jeans and then I did some red stitching on them.
Really pretty,
so,
yeah.
See that?
You'll take someone's special garments and kind of give them new life as well, similar to Edie with her jewelry.
That's right.
I like that. Yeah, use what you got.
So here's one of my favorite jackets of all time. And this jacket started white, and then it was blue, and then it was shrunk. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to start repairing it. It was going to be my COVID project, but I just actually didn't feel like working on it in my apartment. So it's my new project. Do you know what Boro is, Megan?
No,
Boro, B-O-R-O.
Do the repairing, the embroidery repairing?
It is. It's a Japanese term of layering fabrics over pieces because they never threw anything out because it was fabric was very precious and it was too hard to come by.
And also sashiko, where they do the stitch, like, is that right? I don't know if I'm probably butchering that. It's a type of embroidery to repair holes, and you can cover holes with just embroidery, not just layering fabrics.
Right. Sashiko?
Yeah.
Yes. And here's my Victorian baby buggy, which has a collection of scarves in.
Ooh.
And
Oh, I love all this. Is this part of your parents' furniture then?
The baby buggy was, yeah, the woman who taught me how to knit. I actually acquired it from her when she didn't want it anymore. And then these Chinese chests I picked up in San Francisco one time on my way back from Japan.
Nice.
And this was
Retail area. Oh my God. We have 5 minutes. This is beautiful, and I want to see that other weird sculpture on the dining table.
okay, I'll take care of this. So this is a hat form. Do you remember when do you remember when the Garment Center had millions of very cool things in it, like hat stores and tassel shops and things? So this is this is a sculpture. I call her the Queen. She's by Bill Fink, who's an artist that collects very interesting sterling silver pieces and old dolls and toys, tin cans, and he puts them into these amazing sculptural forms. So I'll just.
This is gorgeous. I feel like this sets the tone for your dinner parties.
She does. In fact, some people like her, and some people are a little unnerved by her.
She is definitely wearing a crown.
She is.
Yeah.
That's the Queen. Here's my kitchen and things that need to go in the dog.
Oh no. And I want to see that she has a whole special dye area. Oh no, we might lose you, Mary. Oh, there we go. Good.
And then here's my little dye room.
Yeah, I love that you have a whole special room for this because it is such a process.
With my pots and color charts.
Sorry, I don't want to speak over you. What'd you say?
Oh, that's right. With the hoods, because oops, there. With the hood for exhaust when I'm dyeing.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, and there's some things hanging.
That's right. Some T-shirts that I did yesterday.
Nice. So you stitch those too, right? Each T-shirt as well, or is that a same process?
A little bit different process, but similar. I mean, it's stitched and pleated and folded, and it's kind of like origami folding. So here's one of my dresses that's just getting ready to be dyed. So this is my new collection that I'm working on.
That's what it looks like, you guys. It's all stitched up. That is crazy to me that it's all done like this still. It's so precise, Mary, how you do it as well.
Oh, well, I have to thank my dad for that.
You put the time in as well. You put the time and the practice in.
And then there's some steps that go up to my little loft, which is my private space.
Nice. And some weird are those like mini chairs hanging out above there?
They are. Those are.
My mom has a collection of mini chairs. Oh my God.
Does she have the same chair? I don't know if I can get close or not. Aren't they great?
My mom has a mini chair she has mini chairs hidden around the house. I love this. This is gorgeous.
There were chairs when we were growing up. We had, didn't you have a little dining room table?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chairs that went with the dining room table.
It's so cute.
Thank you.
I like how you arrange them, though. They feel like sculpture. Oh, and that's some bonbon. Oh, I love all that.
And then here
we have a retail space, too.
This is the retail space. This is where we were standing before when we were talking.
Cool. Okay, we have 1 minute left. I just want to say thank you so much, Mary. Thank you.
This was so much fun, Megan. I'm gonna try to turn it around. Yeah, I'm having a really bad hair month, so
no,
you're looking like my hair really short and snappy, but
okay. Hair. I feel like we have to let go of the hair. No one's getting their hair done. There's a new normal on the hair.
It's an evolving thing, right? So thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure to speak with you, and I've just loved this moment to get together and all our friends that have joined us. I know we have friends from a lot of different parts of the world, and it's really special that they would take time. I'm going to try to put this back. That they would take time from their evening to join us. I'm
great virtual tour, right? Mary, it's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure always to chat with you, and we get to see each other on the road, and it's never enough, and this was a nice little moment. And we might lose her right now, so I'm going to say